Hi guys! This week I'm introducing a little series of mini vlogs on a certain theme. When you're getting to know someone new, there's always that awkward introductory phase of, so, what films do you like? What music are you into? Are you as much of a gaming freak as me? So I'm cutting out the middleman here, no more awkward questions. To help you guys get to know me better, I'm going to tell you my favourite things in a new series entitled... And this first edition of Shirley's Top 10 is going to be all about movies. Yes, here are my top 10 favourite movies, some of which are brilliant and some of which you'll probably think are totally lame, but whatevs. And to prevent any scandals over choosing just one favourite out of a whole series, I've decided not to include Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. I know, but I couldn't really isolate just one favourite out of each of those, and anyway, everyone knows Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter kills the competition, so moving on. As you might know, I can be quite old-fashioned, and one of my favourite movie series is from the 40s. Road to Morocco. Like most films in the Road to series, Bing Crosby and Bob Hope always play two best friends who end up shipwrecked somewhere, and then they fall in love with the same girl, which always ensues in a comical tug-of-war where everyone falls out and eventually makes back up again. Also, they're usually con artists who sell fake products in order to make money, and they always get found out, which is hilarious. And Bing Crosby always sings a dreamy ballad to make everyone swoon. Not me, obviously. Let's face it, it was only a matter of time before this subject came up. Pokemon, the first movie. On the original VHS I bought when I was 10. Although, I don't actually have a VHS player anymore, so can't actually watch it. Yeah, I need to get on that. This film instantly became one of my favourites after I saw it at the cinema. It was hilarious. Youth in Revolt. I mean, Michael Cera's pretty consistently funny anyway, and this was no different. If you haven't seen it, you definitely should. It's about a shy kid who falls in love with a girl, but he can't be with her unless he does something bad enough to get kicked out by his parents. So he does what any normal kid would do and creates a sadistic, badass alter ego. If you like Scott Pilgrim, and who doesn't, you'll like this too. We're jumping back to the 40s again, but this time we're visiting one of my favourite musicians of all time who defined the ukulele, starred in a bunch of great films, and is probably one of the best things to come out of Lancashire. George Formby in one of his best films. Let George do it. In fact, this isn't even the box for that particular film. This is a whole... Can't get enough Formby. If you think his songs are comical, you want to see him act, it's unbelievable. It's the most cringeworthy, cheesy and endearing thing you'll ever see. This particular film features the bumbling, impossibly clumsy George catching a boat to Blackpool, but since it's World War II and the blackouts are on, he accidentally gets on the wrong ship and is shipped off to Norway, where he gets mistaken for this undercover spy and is forced into a dangerous mission to stop the Nazis from sinking British ships. It's got slapstick, it's got brilliant songs, it's got everything. And as a fellow Lancashire person, I am proud. When I'm cleaning windows. These have been pretty much comedy related films so far, so here's a serious one. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Jim Carrey is usually known for his silliness, but in a rare display of seriousness, he actually managed to explore the delicacy of human interaction and the impact it has on our lives. In this film, he meets a girl called Clementine, played by Kate Winslet, and they have a relationship, but because of all their insecurities, it breaks down and they hate each other so much by the end of it that he decides to take drastic action. Somehow there's a clinic that's perfected memory modification to the point where you can go in and have one particular person completely erased from your mind as if you'd never met them before in your life and nothing had ever happened between you. So he decides to get Clementine erased from his brain. And the film shows them together in his memories as they're being erased from his mind, and they cotton on to what's happening and try and hold on to each other as he's being reprogrammed. It's very sweet and very sad too. Back to comedy. I don't think many people would disagree with this one. Napoleon Dynamite. I understand why some people didn't like this one. I mean, it is slow moving and it's not exactly riveting, but that's kind of the point. Small town life is exactly that. And anyway, teenage angster's never been better expressed. Tina, come get some ham! Wish you'd get out of my life and shut up. Why don't you go eat at a crowded piece of crap? Freaking idiot! Okay, we've had lols and serious, now it's time to get dark. Not literally. The Nightmare Before Christmas. I have loved Tim Burton for a long time. I've read books about him, I've read his poetry, I've seen all the behind the scenes documentaries about how he makes that distinguishable brand of dark morbidness mixed with childish curiosity. He's amazing. The Nightmare Before Christmas is just one of those classics that stays with you far beyond childhood. And it's got everything you'd want from this kind of genre: stop motion animation, brilliant soundtrack, genuinely emotive characters that you actually bond with, and the balance between creepiness and innocence is just perfect. I don't think I can even put the genius of this film into words, so I'm not even gonna try. Anchorman. I can't even hazard a guess at how many times I've seen this film. It never gets old, it's just a classic. And without Anchorman we wouldn't have had such brilliant lines as 60% of the time, it works. Every time. Where did you get those clothes? At the toilet store? Why don't you go back to your home on Whore Island? It's music related, it's from the 60s, and it stars one of my favourite bands ever. A Hard Day's Night. Yes, the Beatles' first film is my number 2 of all time. I love the band, I love the music, and even though it's obviously scripted, they've still kept the Scouse accents and all the little Liverpoolisms that the Beatles naturally had, so it's not like they're being polished up or changed to be something they're not. And it's dead funny, and John's dead sexy. But if it's so good, what did it lose out to? Drum roll please. Edward Scissorhands. I couldn't have just one Tim Burton film in this list, it's just not right. Tim Burton, to me, encapsulates within Edward Scissorhands something about human emotion and the way we come to perceive the world around us in a way that not many films have. The idea for the film actually came from Tim's own feelings toward his surroundings. I mean, he grew up in 1960s American suburbia, and as quite a dark-minded, introspective child, he felt really at odds with the world around him, especially how everyone seemed so falsely cheerful then, and how everyone seemed to live the same day over and over again with no actual sense of realism. Hence why the neighbourhood in Edward Scissorhands looks all squeaky clean and all the houses look the same. In fact, the visual for Edward Scissorhands was actually based on how Tim Burton saw himself in comparison to everybody else who lived in this suburban dream world, where everyone was happy and you couldn't really talk about sadness. But what I love about this film, and that makes me cry at the same time, is how someone totally naive and innocent perceives the world and the people around them, and sees beautiful things that most other people just wouldn't see, and of course the inevitable horrors they experience when they realise that the world just isn't as simple and safe as they thought it was. I'm gonna stop waffling now before this turns into a Tim Burton dissertation or something. So there you have it, there's my top 10 list of movies I love the most. I have more top 10s that will appear at some point, but not consecutively. I want to give you guys something more interesting to wrap your brains around. But if you have any suggestions for future top 10s, or you want to tell me your favourite movies, then comment or tweet me. And don't forget to subscribe. Toodaloo!